Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new 2018 Honda Odyssey. With available Honda Vac, it always bats cleaner.
Welcome to Boston, and we are at beautiful Fenway Park. The final week of the baseball season. It's underway here tonight at Fenway. Blue Jays are in town. They've had a tough go of it against the Red Sox this season. Boston has won 12 of the 16 games they have played. Yesterday was a memorable day for sure for Jose Bautista. I think he really enjoyed the reception he got at Rogers Center.
I think we saw that at the end of the day when he was talking to Hazel at the end of the day. You could see that the emotions were really running high. You could see, I thought he really felt it from the fans, from his teammates as he hugged everybody coming in. His players, his teammates let him go out there to, kind of a last-minute thing, let him be the only one to start out on the field. Overall, I thought it was a tremendous day, one of the best days in baseball that we've been around, to see the emotion and the love for Jose Bautista for what he has done for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Drew Pomeranz will start things off for the Red Sox in this three-game series, and he has had a good run against the Blue Jays this season. He's 3-0 against the Jays this season. Here's the lineup for the Blue Jays. Teoscar Hernandez, Josh Donaldson, and Justin Smoke. He's put up good numbers against the Red Sox. 5 double-6 home runs and 12 RBIs going up against Boston back in the friendly confines of Fenway Park. And how about this guy? Jose Bautista absolutely loves hitting here at Fenway. 25 home runs, 56 RBIs in 72 games, and hopefully he'll be able to add to those totals in this three-game series here in Boston.
They will get Drew Pomeranz. He'll be making his career-high 31st start of the season. He's thrown 165 and 2/3 innings, only 5 1/3 innings shy of setting a new career high in innings pitched. Also, might be the hottest pitcher since the All-Star break that no one is talking about. He's 7-1 with a 262 earned run average in 13 starts since the break. His ERA 4th best in the American League. Over that time, only Kluber, Verlander, Severino have a better earned run average than Drew Pomeranz, and nobody's talking about him. He's allowed 2 or fewer runs over, winning each of his last 3 starts, and he's 3-0 against the Blue Jays.
Defensively, let's take a look at the Red Sox. It's Young in left with the left-hander on the mound. Jackie Bradley Jr. has had a great season in center, and Mookie Betts is in right. Hanley Ramirez starting at first base. He was their regular first baseman a year ago. That's not the case this season.
Yeah, he will get the start now. His first start at first base since August the 31st. He's been dealing with some shoulder problems. He's been out, and they want to get his bat back in the lineup number 1, but at first base, because they think there's a much better team with him at first. So his last start was against the Yankees in New York on August the 31st.
Now, the reason he's at first base is they have to have Nunez in the lineup, and he's not healthy enough to play in the field just yet. So Nunez is the DH tonight. Here is Teoscar Hernandez. He takes the first pitch down and away for ball 1, and we are underway. Teoscar has homered in 3 straight games, the first Blue Jays rookie to accomplish that. 5 home runs for the season. Takes another pitch outside. It's 2-0.
One thing that I've been impressed with Teoscar is how patient he's been at the plate. Really hasn't been over swinging at the plate. He's really calmed things down.
It's a high fly ball into right. Mookie Betts took a look at Jackie Bradley Jr. Turns things over to the center fielder. 1 away. Pomeranz, as Pat mentioned, has been on some roll. Everybody looks at Chris Sale, but Pomeranz has 16 wins, just 1 fewer than Chris Sale. They have made a terrific 1-2 combination, and the fact that they're both left-handers, kind of surprising here in this ballpark to have that kind of success pitching at Fenway.
9-2 with an ERA of 3.11 in 15 starts here at Fenway Park for a left-handed starter. Here, the other team's stacking their team with right-handed batters, and he's been very successful. He's only given up 7 home runs in his last 75 and 2/3 innings, so he's been keeping the ball down.
Pomeranz making his 31st start of the season, as Pat mentioned. That's a career high. Misses with that fastball to Donaldson. 2-0 to JD.
Falling behind hitters is never a good thing when you are pitching at Fenway Park. You got Hernandez on a 2-0 pop-up.
Drops that curveball in there for a strike. Donaldson He is 2 for his last 18. He hasn't homered in 5 straight games. And he has put up another 30 home run season. 30 homers and 72 RBIs. High fly ball deep to center field. Get up, ball, get up, and God, out of here. Another first inning home run for Josh Donaldson. So much for no home runs.
That's why I wanted to mention in the first inning that he hasn't been giving up many home runs, because the Blue Jays are sending the best home run hitters they have in the first inning. Let's see how that computes. Well, it computes that Josh Donaldson's going to go for number 31. You fall behind good hitters in this hitter's ballpark, and things like that are going to happen. JD put a charge into that one.
Home run number 31 for Donaldson. That's the 110th home run the Blue Jays have hit in this ballpark since 2008. They've hit more home runs than any visiting team in this ballpark since 2008.
Let's take a look at that beautiful swing one more time. 2-0. Looks like a cutter. With that side spin, it doesn't cut. It just stays up and out over the plate. And we've seen Josh do that before.
Justin Smoke hits another fly ball to right. This time it's Mookie Betts, the right fielder, who makes the catch. 2 outs, and that'll bring Jose Bautista to the plate. Another look at the Donaldson homer.
Reminds me of the home runs he hit when the team was in Minnesota in the first inning. High fastballs, and he's able to get on top of it and stay through that ball. A lot of time hitters will cut off their swing on those high pitches like that. He stays right through it and finishes that swing high. That allows him to get the ball airborne on a high pitch.
Jose Bautista batting with 2 outs. He lays off that high fastball. Mentioned Jose has 25 home runs here in this ballpark. It's been one of his favorite ballparks to hit home runs in. The only ballpark in which he's hit more home runs, of course, Rogers Center. 146 home runs at Rogers Center. Line drive to the third baseman, Rafael Devers. Bautista hit it hard, but right to the third socket. But the Blue Jays jump on Drew Pomeranz. Another first inning home run for Donaldson. That's his 14th that he's hit in the first inning, and the Blue Jays have the early lead. Finished up a terrific road trip. They went 8-1 on the road trip, and they have been playing some great baseball of late. Let's take a look at their lineup. They are in first place in the East. They have clinched the playoff spot, and the number 3 hitter is Mookie Betts. Blue Jays know all about Mookie Betts. He has worn them out again this season. 18 RBIs and a 352 average. Plus, Mookie Betts has 9 stolen bases in 10 attempts, and Rafael Devers, he's starting to come back a little bit. He went into a little bit of a tailspin, but he's got a hit streak going lately. Devers has a 5-game hit streak, and they are set to take on Brett Anderson.
Brett made his first start with the Blue Jays versus Boston. That was back on August the 29th, pitching into the 6th inning, giving up just 1 run. That started a string of 4 good outings for Brett. He's coming off of a tough one, though. Last time out, could not make it out of the 2nd inning versus Kansas City. Allowed 8 runs on 7 hits with a pair of walks. Got the game face on tonight against the Red Sox.
Ball on a strike. He's working to Luke Maley. And Xander Bogaerts is the leadoff man tonight. Bogaerts having a little bit of a down season by his standards. 67. 2 balls and a strike to the Red Sox shortstop. You can see the slump he's in recently. Just a 167 average over his last 8 games.
Talked to some of their hitting coaches today. They've got a couple of them, the Red Sox, and they said he's been hitting the ball hard. He just hasn't had any luck lately. The numbers don't show it, but his at-bats have been better.
There's a base hit to right. That's what he was working on all afternoon during batting practice, hitting that ball the other way. Leadoff single for Bogaerts. Let's check out the Blue Jays defense. Hernandez, Pilar, and Bautista in the outfield. Goins and Marnie up the middle. Smoke at first and Josh Donaldson back at third base again.
Yeah, when Brett Anderson is on, you're going to get a lot of ground balls from him. When he faced the Red Sox back on August the 29th, he got 10 ground ball outs. 7 right-handers in the lineup tonight for the Boston Red Sox, so I think the left side, and in particular Josh Donaldson, is going to be interesting. They might be really busy tonight too if Anderson is on.
Eduardo Nunez is back in the lineup and played about 3 weeks with a sprained knee. They're anxious to get him back and see exactly what he can offer. He was a real spark when they first acquired him from San Francisco.
Boy, he lit a fire in this offense when he came over here. Every time you check the paper, he had 2 hits, 3 hits, stolen base. There's another hit.
That's into the gap in right center. Bogaerts is headed to third. They're going to stop him there as Nunez returns with a double. No question about his bat. He's flexing that right knee a little bit. That's the knee that has bothered him. And he ran the bases yesterday, had a pretty good workout, but it looked like he was favoring that knee as he headed towards second.
And that's why he's DHing tonight. They're thinking he can DH tonight. There's him. There he is coming out of the box. It's not as fast as we saw him when we saw him earlier, but he can hit. Takes that ball down and away and slices it into right field. Extra bases for Nunez. He's not running like he did earlier when we first saw him, but I'll tell you what, nothing wrong with the swing.
He can really swing it. He can especially hit fastballs. Well, here is Mookie Betts. And Mookie Betts, over the course of the season, has hit .352 against the Blue Jays.
Sitting on 99 ribbies.
99 ribbies, and he has scored 98 runs. He's got a chance to drive in a couple. Bouncing ball up the middle. That's going to be RBI number 100 as Bogaerts comes in, and that ties the game. So Xander Bogaerts singled, went to third on the double, and Mookie Betts has reached 100 RBIs again.
Playing like the MVP candidate, like he can be. He had a great game yesterday with his bat, 3-run double, had a couple of outfield assists, stole a run when he was on second base, actually scored on an infield single. That ended up being the game winner. Tonight he plates that 100th RBI.
Betts drove in 113 last year. So now there's 1 out. Hanley Ramirez the batter. Nunez is now at third. Ramirez goes after the first pitch. Nunez comes in to score as Ramirez grounds out to Goins, and the Red Sox have hit the ball sharply off of Anderson here in the first inning.
That will go as an RBI for Hanley Ramirez, his 59th of the season. Good fundamental baseball by the Red Sox. They're not going to hit a lot of home runs, but they do and play the game the right way.
Boston has a 6-game winning streak. They've won 14 of their last 17 games, and they are getting hot at the right time. So Christian Vasquez, he has swung the bat so well, he's moved up into the 5th spot. He's taken over most of the everyday catching duties.
Last time we saw him, he was hitting 9th.
Vasquez batting .297 for the season. 18 doubles, a couple of triples, 5 homers, and 32 ribbies. Takes it outside. Ball on the strike.
one of the reasons they have him hitting up so high. Not a big power hitter. You saw the numbers hitting on the season, but it gets better with runners in scoring position. That's why John Farrell's got him hitting in an RBI spot.
Vasquez just turned 27 years old. He's another ball player from Puerto Rico, obviously with the concerns of his country on his mind. He's from Bayamon, Puerto Rico, just outside of San Juan. On the ground. Goins waits for it. Goes to first, and that'll do it. But the Red Sox scored 2 runs on 2 hits and erase an early Blue Jays lead.
Care's 2018 Field of Dreams granting cycle are now open. Field of Dreams is Jays Care's capital infrastructure program dedicated to creating safe spaces for youth to play and learn all across Canada. If you are involved with an organization interested in building or refurbishing a space, visit jayscare.com/Field of Dreams and apply today. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. That's a great initiative by Jays Care Foundation to get more kids involved. Well, the Red Sox, they didn't trail for long. Blue Jays got a run on Donaldson's home run. The Red Sox storm right back and get 2 of their own. Drew Pomeranz. Pomeranz has received a lot of run support this season, and he's made the most of it. He has 16 wins. You look at Pomeranz and his run support. He's averaged 6.57 runs per start. So you keep your ERA under 5, chances are you're going to win it.
Yeah, you get a good chance of doing that. I think the ERA is pretty good. The Boston Red Sox, you mentioned that they won 8 out of 9 games on that road trip. They also came from behind to win 4 of those games on the road trip. So no lead is ever safe against this team.
No, not at all. And they have a terrific bullpen. So those are the numbers we're talking about. Run support leaders, Pomeranz, Tanaka, Bundy, top 3. The other 2 on that list, Carlos Carrasco, he's got a 6.25 run support average. But you look at the records, Luis Severino is 13-6 with a 303, so he's doing pretty good on his own. Same as Pomeranz. He's 16-5 with a 315 earned run average. Kendrys Morales rips it into center field. Leadoff base hit for the Blue Jays.
You know what Pomeranz has not been able to do against these right-handed hitters, and I know it's only been 5 batters. He hasn't been able to get that fastball in. They keep trying to go inside, and he hasn't been able to finish his pitches, get out over the plate. That one, he won it away with the Bautista and to Donaldson into Smoke. They've been trying to get that fastball in. He hasn't been able to get it in there.
Yeah, Bautista lined a shot to the third baseman to end the top of the first. So now here's Kevin Pillar. Pilar against Pomeranz, just 2 for 13. But he has hit well against the Red Sox in his career.
Last time they faced Pomeranz, he didn't pitch like a guy who had won 16 games. Roughed him up just a little bit. He was wild. Threw 5 walks against the Blue Jays. He threw 6 innings, and he ended up winning that game, but he wasn't sharp at all. Threw 105 pitches in 6 innings.
That was on the 28th of August at Rogers Center. Millard checked his swing. Pomeranz for the season is 3-0 against the Blue Jays. All of those starts coming after the 16th of June.
And pitching 6 innings each time out against the Jays.
2-1 to Ballard. Hot shot. Devers at third. Second for 1. Back to first. Double play. Marrero with a good turn. That ball was hit right to Devers. A tailor-made 5-4-3 double play. And that leadoff single is erased just like that.
Devers has been in a little bit of a fielding slump. He hasn't played that long, but he's committed 13 errors. But he's been out here working. This time he fielded that ball. As soon as you catch it, that's going to be a double play with good throws, and they are around the horn. Marrero gets to start tonight with Dustin Pedroia's knees bothering him.
Devers had a streak of 5 straight games with an error last week. Marrero's a terrific defender no matter where they play him, so he's a very adequate fill-in for the time being. Darwin Barney batting with nobody on and 2 outs. Barney's swinging the bat very well here at the end of the season. Coming into this game batting .333 over his last 18 games. During that span, he's hit a couple of homers and driven in 8.
He talks about consistent playing time. With those consistent at bats, you get into a nice little groove, and you can take pitches like that just off the plate. He says it's like fielding. He says when he plays consistently, my fielding is better because I feel like I'm into the game. Same with hitting.
Pomeranz still having trouble with that inside part of the strike zone. Full count, 2 outs. Barney, the number 7 hitter tonight. Ryan Goins is on deck. Ball 4. A 2-out walk. Yeah, you get a sense that Pomeranz just a little bit off, and his velocity has kind of dropped here at the end of the season, which isn't unexpected. Making his career-high 31st start this time of the year. John Farrell knows that pitchers have a tendency to run out of gas as well, and he's got a very potent and effective bullpen down there.
Yeah, no problem with the way the bullpen has been throwing. It looked like he hit Christian Vasquez's glove. He was just set up so far off the plate. Off the plate again.
Ryan Goins swinging a ball off Marrero's glove. Barney thought about going to third, but Marrero stayed with it. And Barney has to stop at second for Goins. That'll be a base hit.
I'd always stay on that lefty. Bottom of the lineup getting it done. Single, double play, walk, single. The Blue Jays are threatening again. He wanted that fastball away and ended up right down the middle of the plate, so he hasn't been able to get that ball to the glove side yet tonight. Just off the glove of Marrero, and he knocks it down enough to keep Darwin at second.
The Blue Jays are in a stretch of 3 straight starts versus left-handed pitchers. Jaime Garcia starting yesterday for the Yankees. It's Pomeranz tonight, Chris Sale tomorrow night. That's significant because the Blue Jays are 15-23 against left-handed starters. Here's Luke Maile getting the start behind the plate. Maile making his 36th start at the catcher spot. A bit late on that one and fouls it off. Luke's got big power, and we've talked about it before, Pat. He had a problem with his knee, got that right knee scoped, got it cleaned up. He feels much better and looks like a different hitter now.
Early in the season, when that knee was bothering him, he didn't want to say anything because he wanted a chance to play. He wanted a chance with his new team to show that he could get things done. But he was basically swinging with just his arms. He had no lower half. With that knee cleaned up, he says, I feel really strong and I feel like a different hitter. You know what he's been doing since he's come back? He's been driving the ball a little bit more. A few more extra base hits off of his bat.
He's behind 0-2. Bounced in the dirt. Barney thought about it, but Vasquez keeps it close enough to keep the runners at their bases. See Barney saying, if it went a little bit further, I was going to go to third.
That catcher is tough to run on right there. Vasquez, he's quick. He's got a great arm. Maybe if that ball bounced towards the Red Sox dugout, maybe it's a longer throw, but if it's bouncing towards the Blue Jays dugout and you're trying to go second, third, no way.
And now Maley with a 1-2 count. Barney's at second, Goins at first, 2 outs, and the Blue Jays trail 2-1 as they bat in the second. Little soft liner. That's a fair ball, and Maley beats Ramirez to the bag. Pomeranz got caught playing spectator, standing on the mound. I think he expected Hanley to catch it in the air, but he just looked at the whole play, and by the time he thought about getting over to first, it was too late.
Yeah, catch it in the air, make it by yourself, or go foul. One of those three, but he just didn't get over there. That's got to be an infield hit. That took a crazy turn once it hit softly on the dirt. Jam, watch the ball kick towards foul territory. By the time Hanley runs it down, Maley's going to be safe at first base.
Good for Luke. Sometimes when you hit one of those soft liners, you give up and don't run out of the batter's box, but he ran all the way and gets himself an infield hit. So that'll turn the lineup over. Teoscar Hernandez with the bases loaded.
Yeah, sometimes when you get jammed, you're upset with yourself that you didn't hit the ball hard. But Luke's saying, stay fair. Hey, I got a chance here. And he beats it out. Infield hits. Getting harassing from his teammates, too.
Upstairs. Ball and a strike to Hernandez. He flew out to center field his first time. Teoscar's homered in 3 straight games. First Blue Jays rookie to do that. All of his home runs, 5 of them have come at home at Rogers Center this year.
Hey, how about hitting your first one on the road?
With the bases loaded?
Right now.
That'll work. Foul chip into the catcher's mitt.
He's standing a little bit taller at the plate. Here are his numbers in his career with the bases loaded, a couple of RBIs. Said when he first came up, he was really overloading, if you will, on that back leg, and it was causing him to, his head moved too much. Now they've calmed him down just a little bit, slowed him down a little bit, and the results speak for themselves. He's been really driving the ball lately.
1-2, 2 away. Wouldn't chase that fastball upstairs. He just know he's going to throw a breaking ball at this point. That's his bread and butter pitch.
I don't know if he feels like he can get it over right now, throw it where he needs to. He hasn't been able to finish off his pitches yet. It's been a long inning for Pomeranz. They had 2 out, nobody on when they started this rally.
Everything is up. You pointed that out early on. He just hasn't been able to get that ball down.
Down or in to those right-handers.
Pomeranz has had one of the best seasons ever for a left-handed pitcher in franchise history for Boston. Winning percentage of .762, 16-5 coming into this game. That's the 5th best win percentage for a left-handed pitcher in franchise history. Swinging and drive, deep, get up, ball, get up and off the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes Goins. Maley's going to stop at third, and Hernandez rips a 2-run double off the green monster in left.
You can see Vasquez talking to Pomeranz, and again, they tried to go inside again to try and finish off the at-bat, but he just couldn't get it in there. I don't know if he's not finishing, he's not getting out in front, he's not finishing those pitches, but he just can't get it in. Watch the catcher. He's going to move into the inside part of the plate. The ball is basically right down the middle and up. Can't get it in there far enough, and Teoscar with that great home run swing hits it right off the top of the green monster. Watch the location. It's not on the corner, not even close. That's right where he likes it.
Teoscar has done things that not many Blue Jays rookies have done in the past. That is his 11th extra base hit. It's the most for a Blue Jays in a season debut on September 1st or later in franchise history. He was tied with Adam Lynn, who had 10 in 2006. It's also his 14th RBI, 13th and 14th of the season. Maley is at third. And Josh Donaldson, he homered his first time up. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead. This all started with 2 outs and nobody on. Barney drew the walk. Goins had a base hit. Maley had an infield hit. And then Hernandez drives in 2 with a double off the green monster.
This could have been a monumental inning. Pilar hit his ball hard right at the third baseman, and they turned 2 on it. That's how it was 2 outs, nobody on. Morales began the inning, remember, with a single to center field.
Two and 0. Breaking ball hit deep to center. Brownlee's not going to get this one. It's off the wall. Maley's in to score. Hernandez right behind him, and Donaldson is safe at second with a nifty slide. Another 2-run double. And Pomeranz hasn't missed too many bats early in this game.
Boy, not at all. Blue Jays are timing him up, and he hasn't been able to throw the ball where he wants to, and there's not a lot on it either. That's a breaking ball that Josh goes down and gets and hammers it off the center field wall about 2 feet from being another home run. Bradley with the great arm makes it close at second base, but I think he slid around that tag. Watch Josh come in, goes to the inside, and Bogarts misses him. Blue Jays have hung 4 on the board.
Donaldson has a home run, a double, and 3 RBIs already. We're in the 2nd inning. Austin Maddox quickly starting to loosen up for the Boston Red Sox. They get a full house down in that bullpen. 10 righties and 4 lefties.
Wow. Bautista hit a P right at the third baseman in the first inning. Pilar hit a 2-hop bullet to the third baseman in this inning. Everything else has been line drives all over the ballpark. Pomeranz, he's barely touching 90.
One and 0 to Smoke. And Pomeranz, you can see he's not really too confident. He wants to talk to the catcher now. He called out Vasquez.
That's got to be a concern, I think, to the Red Sox. This is their #2 starter if you will, if the playoffs began tomorrow.
Blue Jays have 5 runs on 6 hits. 2 doubles, a home run. Pomeranz has had a very consistent season coming into this game. He had allowed 2 runs or less in 22 of 30 starts.
7-1 since the All-Star break in 13 of those starts.
Fly ball to center. Jackie Bradley jogging over onto the warning track, makes the catch. Smoke flies out. That ends the inning, but the Blue Jays send 8 men to the plate in the top of the second. They score 4 runs. Big swings of the bat by Teoscar Hernandez, a 2-run double off the Green Monster. And then Josh Donaldson right behind him drives in 2 more with another double.
Brett Anderson actually went into that rough start versus the Royals feeling pretty confident. Anderson saying that he had, quote, one of the 5 or 10 best pregame warm-ups and bullpen he's ever had in his career. Obviously, it didn't translate to any type of success for him on the mound. Pitching coach Pete Walker confirming that, telling me earlier that he remembers turning to Russell Martin walking out of the pen and commenting on just how well Anderson's pitches looked during warm-up. Walker isn't a big believer in the myth, as he called it, of a guy performing well because he had a good bullpen pregame. Walker said there have been times when his starter had a lousy warm-up and he would sit next to Gibbons and whispered, we may be in for a rough night, and the guy goes out there and pitches 7 scoreless innings. So, Buck, you just never know based on how the guy pitches in the bullpen before each start.
Yeah, you know what goes on in the bullpen? There are no hitters down there. I've been down there catching guys who walked in until Bobby Cox, man, this guy's going to deal tonight. And then before he could get out of the first inning, he was sitting next to me.
Well, if he's going to deal, he's got to start turning it on. The first couple of innings have always been tough on Brett Anderson. That first inning, he gave up a couple of runs to the Red Sox, and that's been a tough inning. 22 hits and 18 earned runs.
There's a base hit for Rafael Devers. He continues to swing the bat very well. The 20-year-old has had quite a run here. That's his base hit that extends his hit streak to 6 straight games.
He had a great series in Cincinnati where they just came from. You said 6 straight games. He's had a couple of home runs. He's now 10 for 21 in those 6 games. His last 15 games, he had 7 extra base hits. Starting to drive the ball, hit a couple of home runs in that series in Cincinnati. And yeah, he's only 20 years old.
10 for 21 during his 6-game hit streak. Chris Young takes one inside for a strike right on the corner. The thought about Chris Young was he was going to be their left-handed weapon against left-handed starters. He hasn't had the kind of season they had hoped hitting against lefties.
His track record suggests that he would do it this year, but it just hasn't happened. Coming into this season, he would really handle lefties. But this season, not so much.
A 189 average. This is a double play ball. Goins to Barney, back to first. It is a double play. Young's problems against lefties continues as Brett Anderson gets that double play ball.
Make your projects go further with 2 times the Aeroplan miles when you shop at Home Hardware and Building Center locations from September 20th to 27th.
Beautiful night here in Boston. 20 degrees at the start of this game. Devin Marrero, the second baseman, he's filling in for Dustin Pedroia, who's had nothing but problems with his knees second half of the season, and Marrero filling in very well for him. Off the plate.
Got to get Brett through this inning right here. First inning, like we said, first 2 innings have been problems for him this year. He's given up 18 earned runs in the first and 10 more in the second. But from then on, cruises.
Yeah, the league is hitting .420 against Anderson in the first and second inning. But if he can get past that second inning, then things start to smooth out for him. This year, in innings 3+, he's got a .262 opponent's batting average, and the ERA drops to .342. Manageable. There he loses Marrero a 2-out walk. That's the same scenario that cost Drew Pomeranz problems. He gave up a single, a double play, and then had a 2-out walk to Darwin Martin.
And then everything Cade did after that for him as the Blue Jays scored 4 runs on 5 hits. Left-handed pitcher got to retire the left-handed batter here, Jackie Bradley.
He's not your normal number 9 hitter, that's for sure. Bradley has 17 homers and 62 ribbies. Check swing tapper up the third baseline, foul. Bradley has hit .284 against lefty pitching this season. 3 of those 17 home runs have come against left-handers. That's a big improvement in his approach. That was really a problem for him, and they thought one time he might be just a platoon player.
When he first came up, he had all kind of problems with him. He's a key, I think, for their attack. When you hit him down in the lineup like that, pitchers tend to forget about him. He does have 17 home runs and 62 RBIs hitting down in the lineup.
This season, the Blue Jays have handled him fairly well. He's hit just .250 with a homer and 4 RBIs. But you're right. If you can get him on base, he's got speed. He can score from first on a double. Then you turn the lineup over, and you got all those big bats top of the order.
And if you make a mistake, you can knock it out of the ballpark.
Good pitch there by Anderson. That ends the inning. The Boston Red Sox get a single, a walk, but leave one. Bautista, well, lead things off for the Blue Jays here in the third. And we talked about his success here at Fenway Park. He's hit 25 home runs here against the Red Sox in this ballpark. That's the most as a visiting player in any ballpark he's played in. 18 at Yankee Stadium, 14 at Camden. The interesting number is 14 at Target Field. He's hit that many at Target Field in just 25 games. He absolutely has worn out the Twins.
His swing is perfect for this ballpark. I think he stands right on top of the plate. He's so quick on the inner half. Even if you throw the ball away, he's so quick that he can get the ball in the air. He's got to get it up high. And his home runs are high home runs. They're not line drives like a Giancarlo Stanton's home runs. Those are line drives that might knock off the wall. His are high, majestic drives. But if you're a pitcher and you're looking in at Jose Bautista, where do you pitch him? I don't know. Look at that. Where the strike zone, first of all, is this big because he doesn't swing at it. So small. Where do you pitch to him?
Yeah, and he's on top of the plate. He's very quick, and it's a bad visual for a pitcher to look in there and say, okay, I don't see any real comfortable areas of that strike zone I can attack. That's a fair ball. No contact down the left field line. Bautista will have a single. He's hit the ball sharply twice, both times against Pomeranz. He grounded out a hot shot and lined out to Devers the first time, and now he gets one right past Devers.
And that might be it for Drew Pomeranz. The Blue Jays have been taking some really good swings against him. I think John Farrell's seen enough.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to react to what he sees, and the Blue Jays were all over Pomeranz tonight. He gets knocked out after 2 innings facing a batter. Blue Jays have a 5-2 lead. Austin Maddox will come on for Boston. Maddox, a 26-year-old drafted out of the University of Florida. He's done something very special. He has started his major league career, first 11 appearances. He hasn't given up a run.
Blue Jays saw him 2 times when they were last here at Fenway Park. One of them, he threw an inning, had a strikeout, struck out Bautista, got Morales and Pilar, and then he threw 2 innings in that marathon, that 19-inning marathon, and he looked good there. Just gave up just the 1 base hit in that one. That was to Carrera, leading off the 12th inning. Good fastball. He showed a good curveball. They're going to need more tonight. A few more innings for Maddox.
The Red Sox bullpen has really been on a roll. The bullpen 3 2/3 of hitless relief on Sunday to allow the Red Sox to come back and win that game against Cincinnati. And they have pitched to a 109 earned run average in the last 17 games. So they have been very good. And there's a new member of that bullpen, David Price. He's made 2 relief appearances since going down to the pen.
John Farrell was talking to us before the game today, saying that the bullpen has been outstanding. It's really helped them, especially in extra inning games. They're 15-3 in extra inning games. They're going to shut down innings. And now you get David Price to pitch out of that pit.
There's a strike. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Maddox's fastball changeup got a little bit of a slider, a slurvy slider, but he's got an outstanding changeup that gives hitters a different look.
He was recalled for the 4th time on September 1st when rosters expanded. Made his big league debut against Houston back in June. Now he runs the count to 3-2. Drew Pomeranz, boy, he has been on such a roll. This comes as a shock, and a stunned Pomeranz sits in the dugout. 10-1 in his last 18 starts coming into this game. There's a high fly ball to left. Chris Young waits for it. Morales is retired. So Maddox retires the first man he faces in relief here in the 3rd. And Pomeranz, over those previous 18 starts, had pitched to a 239 earned run average. Opponents were hitting 236, but tonight was a totally different story.
Yeah, managers never like to have to go out there and get their starter with nobody out in the 3rd inning. But John Farrell said, you know what? We want to clinch this thing. We want to clinch it quickly. I know my bullpen's got a shutdown bullpen. I know my offense is clicking right now. I need some zeros.
The Red Sox are trying to clinch the AL East. Their magic number is still 3 because New York won this afternoon. And they pummeled Kansas City in that makeup game. And in case you haven't heard, Aaron Judge went deep twice today. He now has the rookie home run record with 50. 50-5-0. What a season he has had.
What a month. A finishing kick to his season.
13 home runs in the month of September. Everybody was talking, well, poor Aaron Judge, he did that home run contest at the All-Star game, and it's ruined his swing. Not so fast, folks.
I don't think so.
Kevin Pillar with a ball and a strike count. Now it's 2-1. You know, the Red Sox are trying to win the division back-to-back seasons for the first time in their history. Of course, the East Division started in 1969, and the Red Sox have never won back-to-back AL East titles. Pillar pulls it foul into the seats.
Yeah, only the Yankees have done it, the Blue Jays, and the Baltimore Orioles have won the American League East back-to-back. Boston trying to do it for the first time.
Boston has won the division 8 times, but never back-to-back.
I found that interesting when I researched tonight's ball game, saw that they had never won that.
Bautista got a running start, but with 2 strikes, Pillar had to protect the plate. I mean, he had a running start.
You know, that's the thing about Jose. He picks up on those things, little nuances of the game that the pitcher might be not checking in on him, doing the same thing over and over. He's not even looking at him there. Look at Jose, halfway there. And that would have been a stolen base. He's 6 for 9 in stolen bases this year. So the element of surprise is over.
Yeah, now all of a sudden Maddox is going, oh yeah, you're over there. I'm going to check in on you. Bautista, he timed it perfectly. He was off and running before Maddox made his first move toward home. Two and 2 count to Pillar. Another high pitch.
If you're going to steal against the Red Sox, you're going to have to steal it against the pitcher.
Christian Vasquez has thrown out 37% of the base stealers. League average is about 26%.
Yeah, He's too good. Bautista did the right thing, got a great jump, and he stole that one. Well, he was going to steal that one on the pitcher.
Another choo-choo pitch to Pilar. Now it's a full count. Darwin Barney got things going with a 2-out walk back in the second. Barney will bat next if Pilar can stay out of a double play. There goes Bautista. Pop into the seats and out of play. Boston, we had mentioned their great road trip, 8-1 on a road trip. That's the best 9-game road trip they've had since 2011, and overall since the 5th of September, 14-3.
Clicking.
Only the Indians are playing better than Boston, and they're playing better than anybody.
Everybody's talking about the Indians, and they forgot the Red Sox are hot too. They overcame deficits of 3+ runs 4 times on that last road trip. They also played some long games, 15-inning games, a couple of 11-inning games against the Baltimore Orioles, and they swept them.
Bautista dives back in ahead of the throw.
Looks like they're going to start the runner to stay out of the double play. Banking on Pilar making contact here.
Boston played a 15-inning game at the start of that road trip and won that one 13-6 in 15. Then they had back-to-back 11-inning games against the Orioles. There goes Bautista again. He got another good jump, and Pilar fouls it back. On that road trip, they had 3 shutouts. They won 1-0 in Baltimore, 9-0 in Baltimore, and 5-0 in Cincinnati. So everything is working right for the Red Sox right now. They have clinched a postseason berth, but they want to wrap up the division.
Yeah, they want the division, and after the Blue Jays come in here, Houston comes in for 4.
Bautista on the move again, and Pilar fouls it back. Jose's getting his sprints in.
It's interesting how the Red Sox are changing who's covering depending on who the pitch is. That's the 3rd time that they have run on a 3-2 pitch, and each time they've switched back and forth. That time it was the second baseman Marrero. The pitch before that, maybe a fastball away, it was the shortstop Bogarts who was covering. They will flash the sign to each other, and let's see who's covering now.
There's a pop-up. This one into shallow left field. Bogart's going out. He makes the catch, backpedaling into the outfield as Bautista returns safely to first. Pilar had fouled off 6 foul balls in that at bat, and Maddox gets him to pop out to the shortstop. Second out of the inning.
See Jose calling a 20-second timeout there. Give me a second to catch my breath. I think that was 4 times he had to do some sprints right there. Red Sox also guessed right or used the right guy covering as the second baseman covered the ball is popped up to left field.
Yeah, if Bogarts is covering second, I don't know if Young could make that catch. Here's Darwin Barney. Maddox didn't see Bautista ask for the 22nd timeout.
I did. And if I'm hitting, I'm stepping out to give my teammate a chance to catch his breath.
Hanley Ramirez is going to have a chat with Maddox. Ramirez playing first base just for the 17th time this year, but he's been a shortstop and been involved in a lot of those on-the-mound conferences.
I think what he was saying to him was, all you have to do, don't worry about the runner right now, but just vary your times to home plate. Jose's trying to deke him and bounce off there. You see that? Fake like he's going to go. There's 2 outs. Don't worry about the guy at first base. Worry about the guy hitting.
Especially in this ballpark. It doesn't take much to get it up over the green monster. Barney may have chipped the end of his bat. Using a cupped bat, and he's asking for a new bat. Replace the one he had. Yeah, you can see he uses that cupped bat, and oftentimes when that ball is hit off the end of the bat, they'll knock a chunk out of that cupped part. A ball and a strike to Darwin Barney, 2 outs. Bautista still at first. He singled to start the inning. Vasquez makes Bautista dive back in the first. He's going, what's going on, man? I've been running down here. I'm out of gas, and now you make me dive back in the first.
And it's hot tonight.
Well, Maddox preoccupied with Bautista's got himself in a hitter's count now. It's 3-1.
You start thinking about that runner and you fall behind 3-1. You got to lay one in there now.
Mentioned Barney over his last 18 games has a couple of home runs. And a home run cut on that high pitch and fouled it straight back.
Jose telling him, hey, play behind me now. Play behind me. He's telling the Red Sox where to put Ramirez.
It's a full count, 2 outs. Going to be running, but they're going to hold him on.
I'm going to hold him on. No extra jump. And Jose, that could work for Darwin Barney because he can hit the ball to right field.
Cut on and miss. Barney strikes out. Maddox gets out of the inning. When the Blue Jays, with a leadoff single from Bautista, knocked the starter Drew Pomeranz out of the game, and they've got a 5-2 lead.
Baseball live with the MLB.com @bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com @bat today. It's your #1 app for live baseball.
Thank you very much, Hazel. A lot of Blue Jay fans here in attendance at Fenway Park. No matter where the Blue Jays play, there are a lot of Blue Jay fans on hand. Another good turnout tonight. So far, so good. The Blue Jays have a 5-2 lead. They've knocked Drew Pomeranz out of the game after just 2 innings plus a batter. That is not the shortest outing of Pomeranz's career. The Blue Jays knocked him out of a game back on the 23rd of July 2015. An inning and 2/3. I think he hurt his arm in that inning. I think he had an injury problem that knocked him out. He had only given up a couple of hits and 2 runs, but it was a different story tonight.
He just couldn't get the ball where he needed to at all. And every time he tried to go inside to right-handers, he left it out over the plate.
Leadoff man Xander Bogaerts takes a breaking ball. Good pitch, just didn't get to cut. Looked like it caught the bottom of the strike zone.
Lots of balls. The balls clustering in that strike zone. So Brett Anderson looks like he might be finding his good pitches. There's a good one right there. Cuts it right in on his hands.
Tied up Bogaerts. It's back-to-back strikeouts for Anderson. He struck out Jackie Bradley Jr. to end the second. He gets Bogaerts to start the third.
Bogaerts likes the ball out away from him so he can shoot the ball the other way. You combat that by cutting that ball inside, and you get that type of swing. A defensive swing by Bogaerts, out number one.
Eduardo Nunez back in the lineup, got a double and scored a run his first time up. Nunez, 319 coming into this game for Boston. And he's hit 8 home runs for the Red Sox, and he was a spark boy when they acquired him. And they used him at third, then Pedroia got hurt. They used him at second. He's been a terrific fill-in, but now he's been battling knee problems of his own.
Third base has been a tough position for the Boston Red Sox this season until Devers kid showed up. Pablo Sandoval started there. That didn't work out. They got Nunez to play some third, but also backup Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts has had some injury problems this season also. Thumb problem, and they got Nunez to help in that respect, but he has played so well, and with the injuries they've had to find spots for him every day until he got hurt.
Yeah, he was swinging the bat so well that they just figured out they had to keep him in the lineup, and then he got hurt and had to come out of a game, and this is his first game since. 4 for 7 against Brett Anderson. Reaches for that off-speed pitch, stays alive, and that hurt his knee.
Well,
yep.
You saw that when he hit that double to right field. He wasn't running very well. That time he had to reach for that sinker down and away, and it looks like he twisted it again.
Well, this is why the ball clubs are so cautious when they bring players back from injury. And John Farrell told you and I earlier that yesterday he had a terrific workout. He ran the bases, didn't have any problems. You can see he's got a brace on that right knee, and they can't allow him to continue.
Yeah, I think he's trying to talk himself in there to stay there, but John Farrell's already said to the bench who he wants. I thought he said Davis, so it might be Rajay Davis. But he's pleading his case, and John's saying, look, we got to get you healthy.
There's only 1 week left in the season. The Red Sox are going to the postseason, and obviously Nunez is aware of that. He wants to show them that he's able to play, and John says, well, run for me. Before I'm going to let you continue, you have to run for me.
He said Travis. I knew it was something like that. That's Sam Travis as the DH.
Boy, this is a risky thing.
Yeah.
This is very risky. I mean, he's got that brace, and that's the back leg. You anchor on that, you spin off of that. But he's talked his way back into this game.
This is the double that we were talking about. It's a very cautious gait, if you will, the way he is running, and it hurts when you start to slow down. That's where he's starting to slow down, and you can start to feel it. This is the sinker away, and watch the torque and the spin on that back leg. It's a flat-footed swing.
And he hits a bullet, but he is not healthy. I don't think we're going to see him the rest of the night.
I'd take him out.
Yep, you got to get him right.
Yeah, you got to look at the big picture. Big picture.
I mean, he knows what's at stake. I mean, his spot on the playoff roster is at stake. If he's not healthy, they can't add him to that 25-man roster. That's why he's trying to plead his case to stay in this game. And John Farrell just says that's it. So he will be gone from this ball game. But it's incredible how he can swing the bat. I mean, after that awkward foul ball, he hits a line drive to Donaldson.
It's a flat-footed swing, hardly any movement with his lower half, just his upper body, and he almost got a base hit.
Well, you know that is wearing on his mind now. A week left in the regular season, and they have to add their roster spots. Mookie Betts tomahawks that high pitch into right. Well, Betts had an RBI ground out his first time. Now he's got a base hit.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Shot at Boston. We were at Fenway Park. First of 3 against the Red Sox, and Boston has owned the season series. They have won 12 of the 16 games these two teams have played this year. Mookie Betts is a threat to run. Ground ball. Donaldson at third. Plenty of time. He throws him out. So the Red Sox, no runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We'll go to the 4th. The Blue Jays have a 5-2 lead. The Blue Jays have an early lead here at Fenway Park. They lead at 5-2. The Blue Jays are set to bat in the 4th, and you can see that hasn't been the case all season long. The Red Sox, after 16 of the 19 meetings, have a distinct advantage over the Blue Jays.
In every category, but that bottom one there, the home runs, the Blue Jays actually have out-homered them. But look at the runs scored. John Farrell's Boston Red Sox have scored 89 runs to 53. Blue Jays, you know, they depend on the home run. They're #1 in the major leagues scoring runs via the home run. 50% of their runs come from the home runs. The Red Sox are 29th in Major League Baseball, depending on the home runs. You can see when they're playing the game the right way, they can score a lot of runs.
The thing about the Red Sox offense is it's the type of offense that can win in the postseason because they have speed. They have 29 stolen bases against the Blue Jays this season. This is Ryan Goins. He pops it in the air into center. High fly ball for Jackie Bradley Jr. Goins is retired first out of the 4th. He had a single and scored in the 2nd. Well, the Red Sox have plenty of arms down in their bullpen. Blaine Boyer starting to heat up for Boston. Boston has 10 right-handers, 4 left-handers in their bullpen. Austin Maddox came in with nobody out in the 3rd inning. This is 2nd inning of relief. Luke Maile had an unusual infield hit his first time up. It was a soft liner toward first base, just barely got past the first base bag, but when it hit, it kicked into foul territory, and Hanley Ramirez, by the time he got back to the bag, was too late.
Tomorrow, when you open up the newspaper, if people still look at newspapers.
I know you do.
I know I do. I don't know how many kids out there do. But if you open up your your phone and you look at the box score, it's going to look like a line drive.
There's a deep drive to right. Mookie Betts is on the run, but he knows this field very well. He had plenty of room. So that'll bring Teoscar Hernandez to the plate. He is 1 for 2. He had a 2-run double in the second, and he's had a nice month.
And I think a lot of it has to do with the changes, the subtle changes that he's making. Let's take a look at his stance when he came up at the beginning of September on the left, September the 8th. Notice the feet. He's really closed off. He's got that left foot almost on the chalk of the batter's box. Friday, he has moved off just a little bit. He's trying to square up his body. He felt like he was closed off just a little bit, and he was going around the baseball, if you will. His hips were opening up too soon, and it was causing him to go around the baseball. Now he's closed off, or he hasn't closed off. He's squared up just a little bit more towards that pitcher. And when you do that, and he's standing up a little bit taller, you're starting to see him drive the ball just a little bit more. What that does with your lower half is it just frees you up. It frees you up. You start getting your legs into your swing.
There's a strike. It's 2 balls and a strike. Another thing that it allows him to do is see the ball a little bit better. When you're closed like that, you actually have to move. And when you move, your head moves. And, of course, your eyes are going to move. And then the ball starts to jump around on you. But he's been much more selective and patient since he's made that adjustment. That's off the plate.
I asked Brooke Jacoby, I said, is he open to change? He said, yes. He adapts. He understands. He gets it. He understands what they're trying to do and why it should help him. And the results speak for themselves.
He takes ball 4 away. So another good at bat for Teoscar Hernandez, a 2-out walk. And John Farrell quickly out of the Red Sox dugout. He has already made the call to the bullpen, and he's got plenty of arms, and they're trying to clinch the division, and he doesn't want to leave anything to chance. We're going to see plenty of this tonight. Wayne Boyer coming on. Wayne Boyer is the 3rd pitcher to work already in this ball game for Boston. He's making his 31st appearance of the season.
Veteran for the Red Sox was signed just this past April as a free agent, signed with the organization. He's gotten into 30 games. Sinker, slider, changeup, curveball. That's what you want to get from him. A little bit better success against right-handers than left-handers this season.
Josh Donaldson has homered and doubled. He's driven in 3 so far. Boyer starts him out with a breaking ball. Boyer's fastball average just under 95 miles an hour. They've got some big arms down in that bullpen. The Red Sox have 5 relievers in their bullpen that average over 95 miles an hour. And John Farrell will be quick to use them. Carl Willis is the pitching coach. And when you have that kind of velocity in your bullpen, you can get a lot of outs without having the ball put into play.
And that's what the whole idea is right now. A little bit more experience facing Donaldson. A little bit better breaking ball in Boyer. He's been around a while. He's pitched for a few different teams.
Atlanta, St. Louis, Arizona, the Mets, San Diego, Minnesota, Milwaukee, and now Boston. He has been around. Got a lot of jerseys in his trophy room.
A little bit better breaking ball than young Austin Maddox. He is not going to give in to Donaldson. Josh is already 2 for 2 tonight with 3 RBIs.
Blue Jays have a 5-2 lead. 5 runs on 7 hits. Donaldson's hit the only home run for the Blue Jays. Inside. Donaldson has never had a hit against Blaine Boyer. He's 0 for 7. That's why Farrell was so quick to make the move. He's already homered and doubled, and why take a chance? Full count, 2 outs. Hernandez will be moving on the pitch. There he goes. Ball inside. Donaldson will draw the walk. Back-to-back 2-out walks taken by the Blue Jays here in the 4th. So Justin Smoak will turn around and bat left-handed for the first time. He was 0 for 2 against Pomeranz, a couple of fly ball outs.
Still has an excellent chance, I think, to get to 100 RBIs. This would be a great time for one of those 3-run home runs we've been looking for.
6 games. He's got to come up with 11 RBIs in 6 games. Two outs, and Boyer, he wants another set of signs. He didn't see that first offering from Vasquez. Now they're set. Breaking ball down and in. Smoak has hit well against Boston this season, as we've mentioned. 5 doubles, 6 home runs, and 12 RBIs against the Red Sox. 2-0.
Boy, they're careful. Careful with Donaldson. Careful with Smoak. Not giving him anything to hit.
Bautista is on deck, and Smoak hasn't got much to hit.
It's almost like just put him on. He's not even coming close. 3-0. You know he's got the green light. But I don't know if he's going to throw one in there.
Smoak swings at a 3-0 pitch, one of the few times he's done that all season. And he pops out to the third baseman. Smoak's not anxious to swing at 3-0, but Boyer gets him out, and they strand a pair. Blue Jays will take a lead into the bottom of the 4th.
credits Jose Bautista for helping him improve as a left fielder. Hernandez said he looks across to Bautista when he's on defense, and it's Bautista who motions where he should position himself. Hernandez said after his years of the majors, Bautista has shared a wealth of knowledge when it comes to hitters' tendencies. I asked outfield coach Tim Leeper whether Bautista is stepping on his toes, and Leeper said absolutely not. Leeper gives them a starting point, then he wants them to trust what they see and make the appropriate adjustment. It's important, Leeper said, for all three of them to work as a unit out there. Bautista and Leeper do get together from time to time and go over reports, but Leeper welcomes Bautista's input, Buck, saying, quote, "It's like having 4 coaches out there."
The players on the field, they can see what's happening, and a guy like Bautista, who's in his 14th major league season, he knows the hitters, pays attention to all the hitters, and why not help out your teammate over across the diamond? He sees that a hitter is late on a particular pitch, he'll make the appropriate adjustments. And Tim Leeper, he's anxious for anybody to help out his outfielders.
If you're a young player and you're just coming to the big leagues and getting some time, why wouldn't you go and sit next to the most experienced and the best ball player and pick their brains?
Well, you know this, and a lot of times those veteran ball players aren't too anxious to share their information with you because somebody's going to take your job eventually. But Jose's not like that, and he hasn't been like that. Quick to help out his teammates.
That's so important. You know, if you've got someone, and you can't be afraid to go up there and talk to them and strike up a friendship and say, "Tell me about this. What can I do?" I think a veteran should always help a young player. They're scared half to death, first of all.
Christian Vasquez swings at the 2-0 pitch. Goins throws him out 1-1. When you first came up to big leagues, who was the most veteran player on your team?
Bill Buckner with the Chicago Cubs. That was the team I went to. As a hitter, a position player.
Right. Yeah. Somebody that you would relate to.
Yeah. Fergie Jenkins was there. Fergie was great to talk to. But Billy Buck, and he wasn't afraid to share some secrets or help you out or do whatever it took for a young player. I was scared half to death. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was one of those guys, you know, seen but not heard kind of thing.
Had you been with him in spring training?
No.
So the first time you met those guys was when you got called up to the big leagues?
After the strike of '81.
Yeah.
You know, that I was like the new guy on the block.
That's what's different about this day and age. And a lot of these youngsters, of course, not Hernandez because he was with the Astros, but Urania, for instance, he was with the Blue Jays in spring training, so he knows the coaches, knows the manager, knows the players. So when he gets called up in September, it's a lot of familiar faces. You know, he was with Morales in spring training. They've had conversations before. But when you get called up without going to spring training, all of a sudden you're the new kid on the block. It's not as rough as it used to be, for sure. Because these kids that come up nowadays, they have been around the major leaguers. A guy like Devers, 20 years old, he was in spring training. And then when he gets the call, he sees a lot of familiar faces.
That's why they're there in spring training. That's why you bring them up, to get them around that atmosphere.
Pretty good looking pitch. Anderson didn't get the call. He's really thrown a lot of quality pitches down in the zone. He had a rough start to his ball game. He gave up 2 runs on 2 hits in the first.
The numbers are bearing it out. First 2 innings, he struggled. Now it looks like he's getting that fastball where he wants to. He thought he had Devers struck out.
So did I. So Devers walks, and Chris Young comes to the plate. Young grounded into a 6-4-3 double play his first time after a Devers single. Young's bat might become more important given the status of Eduardo Nunez. And Nunez, in case you just joined us, got back in the lineup tonight, missed a couple of weeks after spraining his knee, and then he left after a second at bat. Obviously in some discomfort. He was wearing a knee brace on his right knee. He took an awkward swing, and John Farrell came out. It was a foul ball, and Nunez talked his way into the rest of the at bat. Pop up into shallow left field. Goins going out. Hernandez coming in. The outfielder calls for it to make the catch. So yeah, Young's bat could be very important as they try to construct a postseason roster. And all of those things are dependent on who you're going to play, where you're going to play, what kind of bullpen you need. And the way it stacks up right now, they will play Houston if all things were to end today.
Yeah, stay the same. They end the season with 4 games against Houston, possibly 9 straight games against the Houston Astros. And if you're thinking about Chris Young, who we were just talking about, Dallas Keuchel's on that team, starting pitcher. So you know he's going to get the start against Dallas Keuchel.
If not in left field, certainly as the DH now with questions about, because you're going to play Ramirez at first. You're not going to have Moreland at first. So,
against the lefties,
yeah.
Right.
Devin Marrero, the second baseman. And Marrero's in the same boat as Nunez. If Pedroia doesn't come back and play at least 1 game in this series and maybe 2 of the final games against Houston, and his status is questionable for the postseason. Except I'd hate to be the guy that told him.
No, don't. Yeah. Yeah, he'll be ready. They are banged up a little bit right now, trying to win the division and maybe give them a day or 2 off. You know, they still want to have a better record than Houston if that is their first round team.
You know, dribbler foul that Anderson picks up.
If they face Houston in that first round, you want to have a better record so you have the home field advantage. And right now they're 4 games behind them.
Yeah. Houston start of play this evening, 95 wins. Boston Red Sox have 91 wins. That's a lot of ground to make up. Of course, they're going to play head to head. It'll make a big difference. But the way it looks right now, they'd probably be going to Houston if that were the case to play that first round of the division series. Downstairs, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. In case you're just joining us, the New York Yankees beat the Kansas City Royals today in New York 11-3. CC Sabathia had a good start. Aaron Judge hit 2 home runs. He now has the major league rookie record for home runs with 50. Minnesota is off tonight.
They're in Cleveland, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll go to Cleveland next. So Houston, they play Boston to finish up the season. Minnesota will play 3 in Cleveland and go home and finish up the season against the Tigers. Marrero strikes out. That ends the inning. Boston leaves a base runner on. We'll go to the 5th. Blue Jays have a 5-2 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
a movement. Fans, what does United by Sport mean to you? Tell us on social media for a chance to win amazing experiences, courtesy of Sportsnet. Bye.
Thank you very much. And indeed, sports will unite old and young, men and women, parents and children. And it is a great way to unite, develop friendships, and enjoy a great sporting event. So far, so good for the Blue Jays. They have a 5-2 lead as Jose Bautista leads things off for the Blue Jays. Blaine Boyer, the third pitcher to work for Boston, drops a breaking ball in there for strike one. Jose is 1 for 2. He hit a line drive to the third baseman his first time.
He was the last batter that Maddox faced, or excuse me, Pomeranz faced before Maddox came in, ripped the ball down the line. I think any other ballpark, that's extra bases, but the nuances and the nooks and crannies in this stadium ricocheted off that wall down the left field line, and Jose could only get a single out of it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Bautista, leading off the 5th inning here. Called out. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, the Cardinals, they have that 4-game series with the Cubs, and they can determine their own fate. They really have to dominate Chicago. St. Louis to start of play tonight, 6 games back in a division, and they can cut into that Cubs lead, but the wild card is more open as they are back in that wild card race.
2.5 going into today. That looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that the last week of the season.
Yeah, St. Louis plays the Cubs, and then they play Milwaukee at home, so the Brewers have to go into Busch Stadium and play the Cardinals. That's going to be quite an affair. The Brewers have the Reds starting tomorrow for a 3-game series at Miller Park, and then they go to St. Louis and finish the season. So that is going to be quite a showdown. Colorado has the 2nd wild card spot. The Diamondbacks and Torey Lovello clinched their playoff berth. We'd like to congratulate Torey in his first year as the manager of the Diamondbacks. He has ties, of course, to the Blue Jays and to the Red Sox.
He was the bench coach for John Farrell last season, and then goes out to Arizona on a team that nobody expected anything this year from them, and he got them to play some great baseball. Hard-nosed baseball. Arizona 90-66 at the start of play today.
Arizona playing the Giants in a 3-game series. Then they have Thursday off. They'll go to Kansas City to finish up against the Royals. That's kind of odd. Colorado, on the other hand, they have a 3-game series against Miami starting tonight. They too have Thursday off. And the Rockies go to the Dodgers, or excuse me, Dodgers go to the Rockies, the final series of the weekend. So the Dodgers could have an impact in the Rockies' postseason hopes.
Well, I think Torey gets my vote for National League Coach of the Year, Manager of the Year. I mean, who else sticks out?
I tell you what, Joe Maddon's going to get a lot of consideration given the start they got off to. And he stayed the course, and they turned things around after the All-Star break. I know it's hard to pick somebody that won the World Series the year before, but they had a tough second half. Kevin Pillar grounds out to the first baseman. That ends the inning. Blaine Boyer has come in and quieted the Blue Jays bats. Jackie Bradley Jr. will lead things off for Boston here in the bottom of the fifth, and it's been kind of a roller coaster ride. It looked like in the first half of the season that he'd figured things out, but it's been a challenge for him in the second half.
First half an 850 OPS, second half 605 for Jackie. You know, things just haven't worked out for him just yet. Still very dangerous. Hitting left-handed pitching, he's got the fifth best average for a left-handed batter in the American League. He's at 284 against lefties this year.
284 with 3 home runs. And Bradley, in the month of June, he had 353. Had 9 doubles, a triple, 4 homers, and then dropped down to 231 in July. Hitting just 181 coming into this game tonight for the month of September. But that's what they've always been concerned about, is the inconsistency. He brings it every single day defensively. He's a terrific defender and is going to get some consideration for the Gold Glove.
Is he ever in center field? We've seen a few of those great center fielders this year.
Cook makes a nice play on the short hop and steps on the bag, first out of the inning.
Make your projects go further with 2 times the Aeroplan miles when you shop at Home Hardware and Building Center locations from September 20th to 27th.
Season is winding down quickly. We're in the final week of the season. The Blue Jays will play 3 here at Boston, including this game tonight, and then 3 in New York starting Friday. I want to remind you that all 3 of those games against the Yankees are day games. Now start at 1 o'clock Saturday. We'll start 1 o'clock as well, and Sunday will be a 3 o'clock start. So Friday and Saturday 1 o'clock. Sunday, and it's universal. All the games will start at 3 p.m. Eastern time for the competitive balance of the situation.
I love that rule that you start at 3 o'clock. All teams, Pacific teams out in the Pacific time zone start at noon, Eastern time zone at 3, Central time zone at 2. So there's no, teams that are getting into the playoffs. They used to be able to wait for.
Sure.
The West Coast teams used to be able to wait.
You could save your pitcher, you could save your regulars, but now everybody starts at the same time. Boy, Brett Anderson has really sorted things out. We mentioned his problems in the first 2 innings, but once he gets past those 2 innings, he has a tendency to settle in.
His curveball's been better. His fastball command is better. He loses Bogarts there, 3-2. Good movement on his fastball as he pitches into the 5th inning.
Well, this is the spot for Eduardo Nunez, and as we mentioned, he was taken out of the game, so this will be Sam Travis who is going to hit for Nunez. His first plate appearance. He will be the pinch hitter. Nunez was 1 for 2. He doubled and scored in the 1st inning, but he hobbled around the bases in that at bat, and then he lined out in the 3rd inning.
After a swing and miss where he looked like he might have re-aggravated that knee problem. Travis has some power now. Minor leaguer. We got a chance to see him early last year when the 2 teams hooked up in Montreal.
And he drills this one toward left. That's off the green monster. Hernandez does a good job throwing it to second, and they got him. Oh, Hernandez made a nice play. Travis just really ran with his head down, and that throw was going to second all the while. But he kept running and runs into an out at second. That's a big mistake by Travis.
Yes, it is. Teoscar Hernandez is going to pick up the outfield assist by doing the right thing, throwing it to the right base. He comes up firing to second base. No chance to get the runner going from 1st to 3rd. Sam Travis got caught out in no man's land between 1st and 2nd, and then said, you know what, I should just go to second base, and he's going to be tagged out easily. You could see he was thinking about maybe stopping between 1st and 2nd right there, but then he said, I'm in no man's land. I'm going to be out even if I stop and go back.
So Hernandez picks up his first outfield assist. First outfield assist this season. His 2nd career outfield assist. He had 1 assist with Houston while playing last year in center. He made a nice play off that ball off the wall.
Well, he took his time, and you could see him thinking it through and saying, you know what, I have no chance to get Bogarts. See if I can hold him to a single. That's a big out because of who's hitting now.
It's a huge out. Mookie Betts at the plate, your number 3 hitter.
Who is as hot as anybody right now. He drove in a run his first time up and then singled to right field his 2nd time up.
That RBI in the 1st, his 100th ribby of the season. Brett Anderson trying to strand a runner at 3rd. Fly ball, that's going to drop. Base hit for Mookie Betts. Pomeranz comes in to score, and it's a 5-3 ball game. I'll tell you what, Mookie Betts has some of the best at bats in run-producing situations. Did he hurt himself?
I think he hit that ball right off the end of the bat and sent shockwaves up that right hand. It's a fastball sinker down and away. He hits it right off the end of the bat. It's going to stay fair down the right field line, and he picks up a run 2-out single. You can see him trying to shake off that hand. He's got that thumb all taped up. That one was right off the end of the bat.
You know what he does? He wears that rubber protector underneath his hitting glove. You can see how big it is on his thumb. Now he's taking it off, but he's hurt. He really got jammed, and he had that thumb guard on his hand underneath his hitting glove, and you can see what he's pointing to, that webbing between your thumb and your index finger. That's what happens when you get jammed consistently, and that really becomes an issue.
Doesn't look like he's going to come out of the game as he's putting on his
I don't
sliding.
know about that. He reacted to the pain as that trainer was testing him for strength. He says, don't do that, that hurts.
Ball is down and away. He hits it right off the end of the bat. Rolls over that left hand.
So he has a couple of ribbies tonight. It's a 5-3 ball game, and here's Hanley Ramirez.
Watch the trainer press on that hand area, and then he goes, no, not there. That's where it hurts.
Where does it hurt? Right there. Boy, how big is that base running error by Sam Travis? Getting thrown out at second.
That's a run and an out. There'd be a runner at first base. It would be 5-4 and just 1 out. Haley Ramirez would represent the go-ahead run instead of just the tying run.
High fly ball into center. Pilar calls for it early and gets there and makes the catch. So the inning is over. Boston gets a run on 2 hits, and it's a 5-3 game. Pete Walker, John Gibbons, Brett Anderson, and Mike Frostad, the trainer, are all looking at Brett Anderson's finger. Remember, he's had this issue before, and he is upset once again, and he's had to deal with this finger issue, and he's looking at it again, and this one happens to be on his index finger, and you can see him looking at the tip of that index finger, and then he had a conference with Mike Frostad, the trainer, the pitching coach Pete Walker, and John Gibbons, and he's going to go down into the clubhouse, at least for the time being.
The last time that showed up in that start in Minnesota, he walked 3 consecutive batters, 4 in the game. He walked a batter in the 4th, walked a batter in the 5th, gave up a couple of hits. Let's hope that he's okay. That's not starting to create a hot spot and a blister on that index finger again.
Barney drops down a bunt. Devers fields it, and what a nice play by the rookie third baseman. He was deep at third, but he came charging in quickly, barehanded, and made a strong throw to first to retire Barney.
I didn't think he was going to barehand it. That's where he has started back there behind the bag, recognized it, and the ball's rolling fast, but he barehands it and throws a strike over to first base. It was bunted so hard, I thought he was going to glove it, but he barehands it, throws on the run, and throws a strike. Nice play.
Very nice play. Remember, the youngster had a streak of 5 straight games with an error recently. He didn't look like he had any lack of confidence on that play. Devers has 13 errors in 50 games. Brian Goins is 1 for 2. Carlos Ramirez heating up. Obviously a reaction to Brett Anderson in the concern over his blister. Carson Smith, boy, he has been a welcome return to the bullpen. Smith, coming back from Tommy John surgery, now starting to gain the velocity he had before that operation. Goins rips it past Ramirez into right. Mookie Betts over to cut it off, and he will hold Goins to a long single. Ryan is 2 for 3.
Swinging the bat much better with a little bit more authority. Stayed right in on that one and hit that ball hard. He had some thoughts of maybe turning this into a double as it gets by Ramirez and down into the corner. But Mookie Betts is an excellent outfielder. Cuts it off and holds him to a single.
All of these Boston outfielders throw very well. So Goins is satisfied with a long single. 1 out. Luke Maile, he's 1 for 2. Goins is running. Pitch is down and in, and Goins slides around the tag. But what a good job by Marrero. It looked like he was going to slide around the tag. The throw was high. And Goins recognized it was going to be on time, and he did a fancy slide, but Marrero made a nice tag.
Blue Jays tried to play hit and run, and if you come up empty trying to run against Christian Vasquez, it's tough. It's a high throw, and Ryan tried to go under initially and then around the tag of Marrero, but he got there clearly in time. Not a bad idea to try to keep the pressure on and play hit and run after that hit by Goins. It's just a tough pitch to try and make contact on.
Yeah, it was a nasty pitch down and in. Maile didn't have much of a chance to put the bat on the ball. So there are 2 outs now. Maile with a 1-1 count. I tell you what, the second base umpire is the crew chief, Larry Vanover. He did a nice job to stay moving so he had a good look at the tag, and he got it right on the money. Goins slid around the initial tag, but then Marrero stayed with him and put the tag on his back. There's a drive deep to left field. This one's going to get off the green monster. It's over Young. Bradley drops it, as Maile will end up at second with a double. Chris Young, the left fielder, got too close. It bounced over him, but Bradley was right there to back him up. But when he went to throw it, he dropped it.
He had a shot. He's got one of the better throwing arms for center fielders in baseball. Jackie Bradley Jr. in center field, and he was thinking about trying to hold him to a single. This isn't the important part about playing in this field. The center fielder has to get over there to back up that outfielder, because if it bounces over his head, he's got to be there. And Jackie had a chance if he comes up with it cleanly, but he drops it, so it'll be a double, another double for Luke.
Luke's 5 doubles now for the Saints in his second hit of the night. The 9th hit for the Jays. Back to the top of the order. Hernandez goes after the first pitch. Teoscar is 1 for 2. He has walked. Came in his last at bat. He has a 2-run double in the second, part of a 4-run inning.
2 more RBIs with that double. That was a 2-out bases loaded double in the second inning.
Pickoff play. Maile is back. No, he's out. Vanover calls him out. The tag again. We told you that Vasquez could really throw. But they're going to ask for the review. Maile drifted too far from second. Watch the second baseman, Marrero, sneak in behind the runner. Looked like Maile reached in and might have gotten the bag before the tag, and the Blue Jays is going to have a look at it.
Let's see. When Luke was running off the field like he knew he was out, and they called it off.
They've called it off. Maile is picked off to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. very well, but once again he has to yield to the bullpen as that blister flared up. He threw 80 pitches over 5 innings. He is in line for the win as the Blue Jays have a 5-3 lead. 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Gave up 2 runs in the first and then a run in the 5th, and he's out of the ball game. He turns things over to the Blue Jays bullpen.
He turns it over with the lead of 5-3. First one out tonight, Carlos Ramirez. There are his numbers right there in the 9 games. Let's talk about his last 2 appearances. 2 appearances ago, he threw an inning, gave up 3 hits, 4 runs. John Gibbons ran him right back out there 2 days later, and he came back with a very clean inning, a 1-2-3 inning. So he last worked on the 22nd. So he's had a couple of days to recoup after that one. But I like when relievers get hit hard and the manager gets them right back out there to get that confidence back.
First pitch strike delivered to Christian Vasquez. Carlos Ramirez pitched 2 innings here against the Red Sox back on the 3rd of September last time the Blue Jays were here. That was in that 12-inning game. Ramirez came into the game in the 10th, gave up a double to Chris Davis. And that's the only hit he allowed. He retired 6 of the 7 batters he faced. Danny Barnes, Tim Meza, both throwing in the Blue Jays bullpen.
A couple of flat sliders from Carlos Ramirez in that outing a couple of times ago. Gave up a couple of home runs on sliders that just didn't move. Moustakas got him.
Whit Merrifield hit a home run. Moustakas hit a home run. Vasquez grounds it to short. 1 away. Vasquez has grounded out 3 times to Goins at shortstop tonight. The runs that you mentioned that Ramirez gave up, this first runs he's given up all season long. But like you said, it was important that he gets right back out there. The home run that Moustakas hit was a record-breaking home run. It was the 37th home run he hit in the season, and that's a new franchise record for the Royals. Devers pops it up. It's playable. Maley behind home plate makes the catch. Devers is retired on 1 pitch.
That's the thing about Carlos Ramirez. He comes in, he just throws quality strikes. Don't worry about the score, where he is. It's been well documented. He's a former position player. He looks very comfortable on the mound.
You know, I kind of thought maybe after he got hit around a little bit, he would be tentative as far as throwing the ball in the strike zone, but he's coming right back. He just pounds the strike zone. And he's not going to light up the radar gun. He doesn't have a Marcus Stroman slider, but he is very effective.
I think one of the reasons why he's effective is, one, the angle that he creates when he throws the ball towards the plate. He's over on the 3rd base side of the pitching rubber, and when he steps, you can see that ball coming in at a side at an angle that's really slicing towards home plate, and he keeps the ball out of the middle of the strike zone. He has that ability to go down and away to righties, down and away to lefties, in on righties. Can't recall too many pitches that he center cut right in the middle of the strike zone.
No, not at all. He's resilient too. He bounced right back. Trying to keep the Red Sox in check here in the 6th. 2 outs, working to Chris Young. It's a high fly ball down the left field line, but that's hooking into the seats. Well, it's a great atmosphere here at Fenway Park, and obviously these fans have come out. The magic number for Boston is 3. Any combination of New York losses and Boston wins that add up to 3, and they will clinch the American League East for a 2nd straight season. Ramirez throws 2 breaking balls, and he throws them by design. He'll throw a bigger breaking slower breaking ball, trying to get it in the strike zone. Then he'll throw one that's harder and quicker. There's a fastball, 92 miles an hour, and Young strikes out. 3 up, 3 down for Carlos Ramirez. We'll go to the 7th. First of 3 here in Boston. Oscar Hernandez will lead things off.
Get regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. We're off to the 7th inning. Let's rejoin Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler.
Thank you very much, Hazel May. We are into the 7th inning, and with that, we've got a new pitcher, Carson Smith. Just 6 games so far. Smith is coming back from Tommy John surgery, and according to his manager, throwing the ball very well.
Yeah, keep an eye on that radar gun. Been throwing up into 93, 94 territory for the first time since coming back off the disabled list. He began the season on the DL after that surgery was performed last May. Made 11 rehab appearances in AA for this team. He's made 6 now for the big league team. He's got 6 strikeouts. He can really sink the ball. His fastball's got a lot of movement on it.
Teoscar Hernandez was at the plate when Luke Maile was picked off second by Christian Vasquez. 92-93, and that was Farrell's comments about it's not 94 consistently, but it still moves at 92-93.
He's starting to get it up there. He'll be at 91, 92. He's got great movement. Sinker slider, basically. He made his debut of 2017 against the Blue Jays. Remember the series we had here the first week of September. Threw an inning, had a strikeout. That's his first major league appearance since May of 2016.
Popped up. Marrero, the second baseman on the outfield grass, makes the catch. 1 out. Drive the game brought to you by the powerful all-new 2017 Civic Type R.
Well, first inning for the Blue Jays, so that must be another home run from Josh Donaldson. He's going to dial it up again. High fastball from Pomeranz. They tried to go inside. He left it out over the plate. Josh Donaldson with home run number 31, way back. That's tonight's drive of the game.
His 14th first inning home run of the season. You just think about that. 14 home runs. He's hit 31 for the season. 14 coming in his first at bat of a ball game.
That's unsettling for the starter. That's his 43rd career first inning home run. I mean, it's not just this season that he's doing it.
gets himself ready for that first at bat. He's had a perfect start to his night. He homered in the first, doubled and drove in 2 in the second, and walked in the fourth. The bullpen continues to deal for the Red Sox. 4 innings of scoreless relief so far tonight. They pitched 3 1/3 yesterday in Cincinnati of hitless relief. 3 2/3.
It'll help you win a lot of games.
Well, you know what it does? It really gives your team confidence. You bring these guys out of the bullpen, and all of a sudden the hitters start to say, okay, they're not going to give up anything. Let's just peck away, peck away, peck away. And we'll come back and win this game late. Donaldson fouls him out of play. The Red Sox have overcome a deficit of 3 or more runs in 4 of their last 8 wins. They have 42 come from behind wins this season, 5 more than they had all year last year. Donaldson stays on that pitch. He has another hit. He's thinking about 2. Big turn around first. He stops there as they get the ball in quickly. Josh Donaldson 3 for 3.
Stay hot. Single, double, home run. He just needs a triple. Stayed on that slider. Didn't give ground. He was able to cover that outside pitch on that slider. And he was thinking of picking up his second double of the night. Good job by Young, Chris Young, the outfielder, get over there, cut it off, and hold Josh to a single.
Justin Smoke is 0 for 3 so far. He goes after the first pitch. Devers flips to Bogarts, back to first, double play. Devers playing on the first base side of second. The third baseman flips to the shortstop, and Carson Smith gets the double play to close out the Blue Jays in the top of the 7th. Find out more about the benefits of premium economy at westjet.com/plusfare. Beautiful shot of Fenway Park on a beautiful evening here in Boston. Blue Jays have a 5-3 lead as the Red Sox are set to bat. Going to have a pinch hitter coming up to start this inning against Carlos Ramirez.
Looks like it's going to be Brock Holt, who was just called up. Herrera looked like he was headed towards home plate to start the inning, but then was called back. And with that, John Gibbons is going to go to the pen and bring in the left-hander. He was waiting for this.
Now Brock Holt announced as the pinch hitter. Ramirez faced 3 batters in the 6th, got a strikeout of Chris Young. And now Tim Mays is going to come on to face the pinch hitter Brock Holt. Pitching change here in Boston. The Blue Jays have a 5-3 lead. His third appearance here at Fenway Park, his 16th appearance overall, and he is going to face a tough left-handed hitter.
Well, it was interesting what happened. Brock Holt was announced late. John Gibbons was waiting for that move. There's another left-hander on deck in Jackie Bradley, so he had Meza warming up, and when John Farrell sent up Holt, John Gibbons had Tim Meza ready. Meza last worked a couple of days ago, 2/3 of an inning. He was touched up for a hit and a run. That was the home run by Todd Frazier, if you remember that, from the New York Yankees. John Gibbons taking a look at that lineup card, anticipating moves from John Farrell and the Boston Red Sox.
Well, this time of the year, managers really have to do a good job of keeping things straight with so many extra players with the expanded rosters in September. Brock Holt doesn't hit much against lefty pitching. Holt for the season just 6 for 23. Doesn't get too many opportunities. Starting to swing the bat a little bit better. He had a game-winning RBI on Saturday in Cincinnati. He's played in 9 of the team's last 10 games. He dealt with a concussion problem all season long. It's really knocked him out for much of the season.
He gives you tough at bats. He's a lot like Brett Gardner of the New York Yankees, where he sees a lot of pitches, doesn't strike out a lot, puts the bat on the ball, gives you a good at bat. So this shouldn't be a problem for him.
2-1. Mookie Betts still talking to the trainer about the back of his hand. It's interesting. And you can see they're comparing the right hand to left hand. It might be swollen up a bit in the back of the hand. On the ground, Barney to his left to smoke in time. Well, you mentioned the swing by Betts and hit off the end of the bat, but something's going on with the back of his hand. There's so many small bones in the back of that hand, and he's trying to point specifically to that spot.
Maybe on the follow through as he rolled his wrist through the strike zone and the bat came around. Might have felt something in that left hand.
Now this time of the year, you play a whole season and everybody's dinged up. Everybody's got problems, but you try to play through them, especially when you're looking forward to playing in the postseason. Mookie Betts, a big part of what they hope to accomplish in the postseason, and they don't need any more injuries. Pedroia's got a balky knee. Nunez left the game tonight with a knee. Mookie Betts, their heart and soul. The right fielder's got an injured hand.
Banged up. That's how it was described to me today, that they're banged up. Everybody's banged up this time of the year. When you play as much as baseball players play every day.
Dustin Pedroia been battling a knee problem most of the season. No swing according to the third base umpire. Jackie Bradley Jr. has struck out and grounded out to first. Tim Meza came on in relief here to start the 7th inning. He got Brock Holt to ground out. Three and two. Leadoff man Xander Bogaerts is on deck. Meza strikes out Bradley. Maley puts the tag on him. That completes the strikeout. And Meza was walking off the field. He thought there were 3 outs, but he's going to walk off the field anyway, as John Gibbons has made the call to the bullpen. Danny Barnes is ready. Bogaerts a right-handed hitter. So Meza gets his 2 men with the strikeout. Here comes Barnes. He'll face Xander Bogaerts when we come back to Fenway. He's the life of the party. He's just giving Tim Leeper a hug. Probably said, hey, man, nice coaching out there first. You're doing a great job. Leap says, get away from me, Joe.
I'm trying to work here. Andy Barnes will come in. He will be the third reliever for the Blue Jays tonight. 57 games for Barnes. His ERA 3.5. Done a good job. He's got some right-handed batters to deal with here. He's going to have to keep the ball down and use that changeup against these hitters in this ballpark. No problem versus the lefties, but he's got to get these right-handers out.
Xander Bogaerts batting with nobody on and 2 outs. Bogaerts 1 for 2 with a walk. He scored 2 of the 3 Red Sox runs. Struck out in the 3rd. That was against Brett Anderson.
Good changeup. See where that ball was. He changed up from a fastball. He started with the fastball, painted the outside corner, so he put that in the mind of Bogaerts. Then he threw him a changeup, dropped underneath the strike zone, and now he's in the driver's seat. 0-2.
And Barnes comes in, makes quick work of Xander Bogaerts. That ends the inning. Barnes strikes out. Bogaerts will go to the 8th. The Blue Jays still have a 2-run lead. It's 5-3 Jays.
On Sportsnet, the Flames and the Canucks get reacquainted in a preseason game in Vancouver. The puck drops at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time.
Brock Holt takes over defensively at second base after pinch hitting for Devin Guerrero. Carson Smith still in the ballgame. He had a good inning, his first inning in the 7th. They gave up a base hit to Josh Donaldson, but then got the double play off the bat of Justin Smoke. So Jose Bautista will lead things off against Carson Smith. Bautista 1 for 4 against the Red Sox reliever. Tonight he has gone 1 for 3. Hit a rope in the first inning, but it was right to the third baseman, Nevers.
He was then called out on a strike that he thought was off the plate last at bat. So he's 1 for 3, and he's at the hole 0-2. Smith is tough. That slider is tough on righties, and if you go out there looking for it, he can bust that fastball inside.
Off the plate. Dominic Leone heating up for the Blue Jays.
When he gets to 2 strikes, he's got a high percentage. 95% of the time he's going to use that slider. And that was it right there. He thought he had the strikeout.
Carson Smith He's a big man. He's 6'6". He's 27 years old, and he's got great stuff. Started his career with the Seattle Mariners 2014 and 15. And last year he pitched in 3 games and then underwent Tommy John surgery.
100 batting average with 2 strikes. Another slider.
Smith was acquired in a deal December of 2015. He came here with Roenis Elias, the pitcher, for Jonathan Arrow and Wade Miley. Seattle needed a starter. They got a guy that averaged about 190 innings a season, but they got a terrific relief pitcher here in Boston. Bautista thought that ball was off the plate inside. It was a slider. He was called out in the 5th inning, and now he's been ejected. Chad Fairchild, the home plate umpire, has ejected Bautista from this ball game. And Fairchild called him out on a borderline pitch in the 5th, and now he has thrown out Bautista after he's called out for a 2nd straight time. That breaking ball looked like it went around the inside part of the plate.
Jose thought so. He goes to a 3-2 slider. That looked like it went around the plate, but he can't believe he calls that a strike. Now he gets on the side of that one, so he didn't get as much break as he had in the past. So
looks like it was up and in. Morales bounces it to Ramirez. 2 outs. So John Givens has to come up with a substitute for Bautista after he's ejected here in the 8th inning. 2 outs. Kevin Pillar, he's 0 for 3.
There's a couple of ways he could go. He could go Michael Saunders in left field and move Teoscar Hernandez to right field if he wants. Or he can just put in Ezekiel Carrera, put him in right field. This is the tough field, right field.
Yeah.
In this ballpark.
And you know what? Carrera's been the best pinch hitter for the Blue Jays, so it might be better to keep him on the bench.
That's what I was thinking. That maybe you put Michael Saunders in there, move Teoscar to right field, and you hold back Carrera just in case you might need him.
Pillar bounces it to 3rd. Devers another quick throw and a scoop at first by Ramirez. Devers has looked good at 3rd in the field tonight. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Blue Jays lead it 5-3. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell with Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio. Telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Beautiful Fenway Park here in Boston, and as is tradition here, they're singing Sweet Caroline in the bottom of the 8th inning, while Dominic Leone finishes up his warm-up pitches.
Ryan Tepera normally handles the 8th inning in the second half of the season, but he threw 2/3 of an inning yesterday, gave up a couple of hits and a couple of runs. So Dominic Leone, they're slowing him down just a little bit in the second half. He's had 68 2/3 innings this season, as Ezekiel Guerrero will take over in right field for Jose Bautista. Dominic last worked 4 days ago in that game. He threw an inning in that game. It was a quick inning for him. 1, 2, 3 up and down. He's been good. Fastball slider combination has been great.
He has had very good stuff when he has ample rest, as he does tonight. Mitch Moreland is batting for the DH Sam Travis, who pinch hit in the 5th. Travis had a single, but then was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. 2-0. Moreland has been their regular first baseman. He did not start in this game tonight because of the left-hander on the mound for the Blue Jays.
He's also been a very productive pinch hitter this year. He's driven in 6 runs as a pinch hitter.
3 for 9 with a home run. Cuts on that high fastball. Matt Barnes, big right-hander, and they just keep coming out of that bullpen for Boston. They've got some big guys with some big arms.
Who doesn't anymore? Teams are built strong in that bullpen. Got a 95+ arms.
Three balls and a strike to the leadoff man here in the 8th inning. We mentioned earlier that the Red Sox were comeback kids. They've overcome deficits recently. They lead the majors in wins when trailing after the 5th, trailing after the 6th, and trailing after the 7th. And they are trailing now.
42 come from behind wins this season.
Andrew Benintendi did not start as Anderson made the start for the Blue Jays, and this rookie has had a terrific season. Moreland, a full count.
That would be for Mookie Betts. Interesting.
Strike 3 call. Moreland drops his bat. He's called out on strikes. That's the first out of the bottom of the 8th.
Honda Sensing in the all-new 2017 CR-V, designed to help keep you safe wherever you play. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Fenway Park, we're in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the Blue Jays trying to win the opener of this 3-game series. Another pinch hitter will come to the plate, and it is interesting, as Pat mentioned, because Mookie Betts, the right fielder, injured his hand earlier, and he is now being lifted for the pinch hitter. And obviously it doesn't have anything to do with righty-lefty. That's his hand is not right. So Andrew Benintendi cuts on the first pitch. Benintendi on the road trip, just 8 for 38 in the 9 games. He's 0 for his last 3. Got a chance to play in front of his family and friends in Cincinnati. Misses with that fastball. It was 95.
Well, we mentioned that he hadn't pitched for 4 days. So he is well rested. His fastball's got a little bit more pop to it tonight. He averages 94.5 miles an hour on his fastball. Tonight we've seen some 96s.
There's a strike at the knees. It's 1-2. Benintendi is 0 for 4 in his limited at-bats against Dominic Leone. The Red Sox trail by 2. They've managed just 6 hits off Blue Jays pitching tonight. The Jays have pitched well in September coming into this game, pitching to a .341 earned run average, and the opponent's batting average is .236. The relievers for the Blue Jays this month, a .316 earned run average, and they've held the opponents to a .227. They pitched well.
And look what they're doing tonight. Since Brett Anderson left, his last hit he gave up was that blooper.
High fly ball to center. Pilar is back. This ball is gone. Andrew Benintendi, a pinch hit home run, and it's a 1-run game.
By my calculation, that's the 115th player this season with 20 home runs now. Benintendi comes off the bench with 19 home runs. He goes back to the bench with his 20th home run. And it was a high fastball, and he got on top of it. Drills that ball. Looked like it landed in the second row and then bounced down to the first row. That is a sweet swing. That's how you stay on top of a high fastball.
His first pinch hit home run in his career, and his first pinch RBI. And it's a 1-run game. Benintendi's had a magical season. Home run number 20, as Pat mentioned, RBI number 89. Andy Ramirez swings and misses.
He had home run on his mind too with that swing. Leone crossed him up with a slider.
One and two now. Addison Reed on the left, Craig Kimbrell on the right. More heat coming out of that Red Sox bullpen. Ramirez drives it to center, but Pilar's got plenty of room in that triangle out in deep right center. 2 away. Leone has 2 outs now. They do with the number 5 hitter Christian Vasquez, as John Farrell contemplates the rest of the bench for the Red Sox. Marlo Hale doing the same right behind him.
Vasquez has grounded out 3 times to Ryan Goins. I think this is a big at bat. Not only does he represent the tying run, but you've got some home run power on deck. And Devers, there's Johnny Farrell trying to figure out his moves. Devers is a left-handed hitter. That'll negate that breaking ball. He's got some power. So this is a big at bat right here.
Vasquez fouls it straight back. He is 0 for 4 going up against Dominic Leone. He's never had a hit off Leone. Rajai Davis, he is a speedster. If Vasquez gets on, you can bet he's going to come into this game as a pinch runner. Ball and a strike to the Red Sox catcher. Now it's strike 2. Rajai getting those legs loose.
That's why this is a big at bat. don't want to see him in the game. And the way he can run.
Rajay has 28 stolen bases, been caught 5 times. Two and two. Red Sox battling back into this ball game. At one point, they trailed 5-2. Got a run in the 5th and a run here in the 8th. Vasquez chases that high fastball. Leon strikes out Vasquez to end the inning. A home run, a pinch home run by Andrew Benintendi has made it a 1-run game, but that was it for Leon as he punches out Vasquez to end the 8th. We'll go to the 9th. The Blue Jays still lead it. Addison Reed, you see his numbers combined from the Mets and the Red Sox, and he's been a great addition to this bullpen.
Real nice pickup for the Boston Red Sox. Great numbers for Addison Reed in the 73 games, 75 strikeouts, a 288 earned run average, a 2-3 record. He pitched yesterday and picked up his 15th hold. His 11th since they picked him up in that trade. His 11th with Boston. He's got great stuff. He has experience closing. He's going to set up Craig Kimbrell since they picked him up.
The bullpen for Boston has been terrific. Carson Smith, 2 good innings, faced the minimum. Andrew Benintendi, who hit the pinch hit home run, takes over in left field defensively. And with that, Chris Young, who started in left field, moves into right. Mookie Betts out of the game. Darwin Barney leads things off for the Blue Jays. It'll be Barney, Goins, and Maley for the Jays. Another one of those hard throwing relief pitchers out of that Boston bullpen, and they just keep them coming.
He's a fastball slider. 91, 93 miles an hour, but he's got a lot of moxie. He's been out there before. There's Osuna. He's getting ready for the 9th, the bottom of the 9th. Reed has, like I said, he has closed before. He is set up. It's a nice pickup for the Red Sox.
Darwin Barney walked and scored. He scored the second Blue Jays run in that 4-run second inning. The Red Sox bullpen has come on and slammed the door on the Blue Jays offense. They haven't been able to score since that second inning. And that was all off the starter, Drew Pomeranz. Pomeranz charged with all 5 earned runs on 7 hits in 2+ innings.
They just had 3 hits since he left the ball game.
Goins has a base hit. Maley hit a double, and Donaldson has a single. That's it. The bullpen has been stingy. Arnie hits a pop up into shallow left. Bogarts, the shortstop, backing up, makes the catch in the outfield.
On top of those 15 holds that he has, I told you he was a closer. He had 19 saves this year. So these pressure-packed innings late in the ball game where you're the last man standing, that's not going to affect him.
Ryan Goins has had a 2-hit ball game. It's this ball high and deep. Get around the pesky pole, and it will. Ryan Goins with a first pitch home run, his 9th of the season. And that'll add to the Blue Jays lead. It's now 6-4. He wrapped it right around the pesky pole.
Everybody thinks, hey, you hit it down the left field line, you got a great chance of hitting a home run. That's a mistake in this ballpark. It's down the right field line where you want to hit it. It's not very deep, and it's a low wall. Wrap it around that pole like he did, and that's a big run for the Blue Jays.
3rd hit of the night for Goins, and that gives him 60 RBIs for the season. What a big run for the Blue Jays.
Stop that momentum. Get that run back you gave up last half inning. Watch right down the line. That ball is curving. And he can get into that home run trot, number 9 this season.
That is 4 more than his previous high set back in 15, and he has established a new high in home runs, RBIs, doubles, every category offensively. He has had a terrific season.
Playing some flawless shortstop tonight.
3 for 4 for Goins tonight. Scored a couple of runs and drove in his 60th run of the season with that home run. Luke Maley strikes out, 2 away.
He has come up with some big hits this season for the Blue Jays. That looked like a slider down and in, right where a left-handed hitter wants that. All you have to do is shorten it up and make sure you catch it out in front. That's a big run.
Goins had 1 season in the minors where he had 7 home runs, and this has been his best home run season by far. Teoscar Hernandez, he had a big hit in the 2nd, a 2-run double. Ryan Goins with a little insurance. Off the end of the bat, Brock Holt will shovel it to first in time, and that's the inning. But a big hit for the Blue Jays has given the Blue Jays a 6-4 lead. Roberto Osuna will come on for the save situation, and he's got a little more room to work now because of this swing by Ryan Goins. He wraps it around the pesky pole. His 9th home run to give the Blue Jays a 6-4 lead.
Jays on Sportsnet. Presented by the all-new Honda Versatach. Meet our ultimate yard work companion with up to 7 interchangeable attachments.
Ninth inning. And the Blue Jays hadn't scored since the second until Ryan Goins hits a one-out home run in the top half of the ninth. Roberto Osuna is given a little cushion now.
Here are the numbers for Roberto's game number 65 on the season. He's been unscored on in his last 3 outings. The fastball has come back. He has really used that fastball very effectively in his last 3 outings at Minnesota versus Kansas City and versus the Yankees.
Yesterday he struck out the side, and you have to believe he got extra adrenaline after Bautista was taken out of the game with 1 out. Bautista walking off the field saluted Osuna, who saluted him back, and then Osuna just pumped a couple of fastballs by Headley and Judge and said thank you very much. Struck out the side. Rafael Devers, then third baseman, fouls it back. It's 1-2 to Devers. '93 career saves for Osuna.
Reaching back for a little something extra on that cutter with 2 strikes.
Deep drive to right. Carrera is back at the wall. He's got room, just enough room. 1 out. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Carly Agnew and Eric Thomas. It's all coming up right after the game. 1 out now. Bottom of the 9th inning. Chris Young 0 for 3. Weak ground ball to Goins. 2 outs. Osuna is second in the American League with 37 saves. He has 2 more saves than Craig Kimbrell of the Red Sox. Alex Colomé of Tampa Bay leads the American League with 46. Osuna is looking for his 94th career save.
And his 3rd one this season here at Fenway Park. This is a tough ballpark to close out the Red Sox. They had a save in July on the 17th here. They also have one on the 20th in an 8-6 Blue Jay win. Trying to get 1 more.
Roberto went through a tough stretch where he blew a few saves in a row. He has 10 blown saves for the season, but he's looking for his 38th save. Short of the mark.
Like he tried to throw that cutter. One of those was right here. He gave up the 2 runs and a blown save at the beginning of this month to the Red Sox.
He is 3 for 5 against Boston this season in save opportunities.
Trying to nail it down.
Brock Holt takes it upstairs. 2-1. Holt entered the game as a pinch hitter in the 7th and grounded out against Tim Mason.
As the Blue Jays scored that run in the top of the inning, you can challenge him now with 2 outs. If he hits a home run, it's still a 1-run game. You can pound that fastball in there.
There's the fastball, and that'll do it. He hit it to the right man. Justin Smoke steps on the bag. Osuna with his 38th save. Brett Anderson with the win. A big win in the opener of this 3-game series as the Blue Jays win it 6-4. And a couple of big home runs. First inning home run by Donaldson and a 9th inning home run by Goins.
Yeah, they take advantage of Drew Pomeranz, who didn't have his A game today.